Hi everyone, it's Danny here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to change a sub-condenser for a refrigeration system. In today's example we are working on this two-door reach-in cooler here. The sticker here on it, that's the model number, serial number of the unit. This is a very shitty brand. Strongly suggest you don't buy any refrigeration systems, whether it's a reach-in cooler or reach-in freezer. Buy this brand, Frontier it's called. Here's the sub condenser, and we're going to be changing it because there's a leak in it right here. The sub condenser is this whole thing right here, the copper piping that goes in this little bucket that you call. I'm going to be changing that right now. So first things first, I'm going to get all my tools and I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, got everything I need. Got some copper pipe, some needle spriers, some side cutters, my tube cutters, sandpaper. I also got an access valve that I'm going to braze to this end. As you know through all my videos, I hate these little access valves that people just put on. They're very cheap and they always cause more leaks in the future. So I'm going to cut this off and braze that straight to there. Then I'm going to add this access valve on this line right here. And also obviously I'm going to change that, this sub condenser here. Got my torch and some silphos. So let's get started. Just to give you guys a note, I did already recover all the refrigerant. I'll post a video on how to recover refrigerant on a refrigeration system later in the future, but I already did that. It's stored way back there, and so there is no refrigerant in the system, so now I have access to the system now with no refrigerant inside. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is take this piece out and install this access valve. I should also note that I do have a wet rag here, so I don't burn myself while I'm brazing, and would speed up everything. So I just got an end of my access valve. I took out the core. So what I'm trying to do is take this piece out, get this hot, take this piece out, and at the same time put the new one in. I don't want this to cool down or else I'm just wasting my time.
What on video? ماشي.
دارم فیلم میکنم. دارم فیلم میکنم. back. Just gonna go grab a mirror. Checking for leaks. That's good. Now in the meantime, while that cools down, I'm going to cut this piece out and take this one out. So both of them. But before I do that, I'm going to cut this piece out. Cut my high side off too. And now, since I cut off the pipe on the high and low side, now if I just take this piece out from here, the pipe, this will easily just come out, and same with this piece right here. I want to take this out and hook this up directly to the compressor. Now you have to be careful when you're bending these pipes that you do not kink them. Now, how am I going to get this small pipe into there? I'll show you in a bit. Here's a little trick that my dad told me, that my dad taught me. Can I feel this first? Let it cool down first. Okay, it's cool now. And now what we can do is get your adjustable wrench, that little circle part, this little circle, put it through, and then gently bend it. Now be very careful you do not kink or break the pipe. then it should be pretty easy. Easily. Almost there. Before I do anything, I want to sand it off because there is some garbage on it. I want to make sure it's perfectly clean so my silphos sticks on really good to both pipes. It's important that when you're sanding that, try to keep the pipe facing down so you don't get any of the junk inside the copper pipe. And a little more. That should be good now. A little more is actually needed. There we go. Now when you heat this up, the copper pipe should just like let in a bit more. Right now it's only that much in. So we're going to do that now. Heat it up. Now that that's done, I'm going to check for leaks or any holes in my brazing. Perfect. That's good. And now, this is probably the hardest part. Is this right here. So now we have to make the soap condenser. The whole reason why we're changing this is because it has a leak somewhere inside. So this is original, and now I got my copper pipe here. And now I'm going to try to twist it into the same shape as that, but rather than just doing the 2 turns, I'm just going to make it into a circle, like a spiral. Much easier. It is important that try to match the same length. So let's give it a shot, see what I can do. So this is my makeshift one, and this is the original one. It's roughly the same size, same length of tube. Just want to cut off this end because it's a little kinked. Now I'm just going to bend it so it fits inside the drain can. So I made more of an oval shape. And I'm just going to bend it until I can, so it goes right into the compressor. So I got this now. Let's see how that fits inside. So now, this is what I've got so far. So you can see, fits right into the blue container. This copper pipe isn't going there, and that end is going to go in right there. And I got some of the copper pipe under the water, as you can see. So now all I'm going to get is my swedge tool and swedge this end, so this can just go slide right into there. I'll be right back. Okay guys, got my swedging tools, and now I'm going to swedge the side of the sub condenser. Like so. All done there. Give it a good whack, take it out. I'm going to place it back in the blue container. I'll show you guys what it looks like now. See it? It's all in. And we can start brazing. Check for leaks. No holes. We're good to go. And this pipe, I'm just going to cut a little bit off this end. It's a bit too long. Make it a bit shorter. Try to make it look nice as possible. There. Can you guys see that? Don't think you guys can. I'm behind there. Don't know if I could put a place for you guys to see it. Maybe there? Can you guys see that? There. We're working on this one right here. Not this. This one's already done. We're working on this one. Right there. Where my finger is. I can barely see it. Put on a platform for you guys to see it more. Raise it up a bit. There you go. This one. Once I heat this pipe up, the copper pipe just will slide right in. Okay guys, so everything is all done now. I've brazed my suction line and my access valve, and now this last pipe is the high side to the compressor. So let's go ahead and do that now. guys go. Once again, I'm going to check for holes. Beauty. Now I can cool it down. It's important to check for holes before you cool the pipe down, because if you do have a hole, you don't want to reheat the pipe from scratch. Whereas if you do check for holes while the pipe is hot, it's much faster to heat up the copper because it's already semi-hot. The drain pipes back in, and now we can start pressure testing with nitrogen first and then with a vacuum pump. But before we do that, make sure you put your access valve core back into the access valve. Let me find it first. Where did it go? Hold on, let me just find my... Here it is. Put that back in. Then tighten it. Now we can start pressure testing. So this is what the final product looks like. I took out that access valve and used this. Now I'm going to use this access valve for it. That's what it looks like inside the pan. And up in there. There you guys go. See, now I'm going to open my nitrogen tank and clean up a bit, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, got my nitrogen tank now. Got my gauges here. Now I'm going to connect my nitrogen. Connect my nitrogen up. And I'm going to connect my high side hose up to my access port. Okay, good to go. Make sure all my hoses are on tight. The system is a 134A system, so I'm looking for around 200 psi to pressure test. Most people do 150, but I prefer 200. It's a bit more on the safe side. You never know if you may have other leaks in the system. So right now I got 210 psi now in my system. Now I'm going to let it sit for about half an hour. I'll be back in half an hour then. Okay guys, it's been half an hour and our pressure is, our high side is still at 210 psi. I don't know if you guys can see, but 210 psi. So we're good to go with the vacuum. Got my micron gauge here, my vacuum pump. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is release all the nitrogen. Once that's all out, I can connect my low side to my access port. Connect my yellow hose to my vacuum pump, like so. I love this vacuum pump. It's very old, but I love it. Super powerful. It's like an antique here. Okay, that's hooked up. So for my low side, I'm going to go to my micron gauge. And then from my micron gauge, I can use my high side hose since I'm not using it for this system. Then from my high side hose to my gauge. That way my micron gauge is in between my system and my low pressure side gauge. Okay, all done here. Now we can plug in my vacuum pump. Plugged in. And now we can give her. Turn on my vacuum pump. I always like to wait 30 seconds before I turn on my micron gauge, just in case there is some positive pressure inside the system. I don't want to wreck my beautiful, expensive micron gauge. These things go for around $200. Now I'll start it. And now I'm just going to wait until it goes to around 1,000 microns. Usually it takes a minute for it to stabilize and then it would start going down. It's already at 6,500. In about half an hour to an hour it should get down to around 1,000 microns. Okay guys, we are just about at the 1,000 micron mark. And now we are ready to turn off our vacuum. So before we turn it off, we close off our low side and see if it climbs our microns. Shouldn't climb by much. 100 or 2 is not a big problem. Then we can turn it off while we're still checking our microns. Doesn't go up at all. Very few. Okay, so yeah, It's not going up by much. Now we can start filling our refrigeration system with some refrigerant. In this case we are using 134A, and this is a cap tube system, so we have to critically charge it, so that's why I have my scale here. So I'm going to shut off my suction side, and now I can take out my micron gauge. The first thing I'd like to do right after is put my end caps back on so I don't get any contaminants inside my micron gauge. Then I can take out this hose. I cut my low side. Take these two pipes out of the way. Then I can turn on my scale. Looks like I ran out of batteries on my scale, so I'm just going to put some batteries in and I'll be right back. Okay guys, just put some new batteries in. So we are back in action. So I'm going to connect my hose to my refrigeration, my 134A tank, like so. I'm going to zero it out. Everything's at 0. Before we start, we have to check how much refrigerant we need. And since it's the Chinese cooler, it's gonna say it in grams. So 460 grams divided by 30, and then you have your ounces. So I'm just gonna get a calculator. 460 divided by 30, and we got 15 ounces. 15.3. So roughly 1 pound, just shy. So we're going to open up our liquid side. And we can actually open up our low side too, because we have it shut off over there. Purge our hose. Get my micron gauge out of the way. So once the hoses are purged, you can go ahead and open up suction and weigh in. How much was it? 1 pound. Try to fill the system up as much as I can before I plug it in. Just sniff my vacuum. Might be lucky enough and get the whole charge in before I even actually turn it on. Just about there. So it's at 1 pound and 0.75 ounce. It's good enough. So a little high, but it's okay. So now we can get started and plug in our cooler. So we find the hose, find the cord for it, and go ahead and plug it in. Now that is digital control, and there's a 30-second time delay. So it's going to take roughly 30 seconds before the compressor starts and kicks in. Okay guys, the cooler has been running for about 15 minutes now, and we are at 5 degrees. So everything is looking perfect right now. Suction line is frosted. I already took off my gauges because the gauges, the pressures everything were perfect and right on. So now I'm just going to wait until it reaches 2 degrees and the thermostat should turn off the compressor. So I'll see you in a bit. And there we go guys. The cooler has stopped at 2 degrees and just went up right now to 4 degrees. But as you can see, it's 4 degrees and the compressor has stopped. Condenser fan has stopped. And there you go. We're all done here. So that's how you change a leaky subcondenser on a refrigeration system.